Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Let's put something more interesting back here. David Snowpeck here from Snowpeck Games. How is everybody doing? I see Ricardo is here. Anyone else? Speak up. Let me know. I don't know who's there unless you say something in chat. Otherwise, I just have this number that tells me how many people it thinks are watching. But I don't know. I don't want to be lonely. I wanna hear from you guys. How's everyone doing? It's been like a month since my last stream. I've gotten so irregular with streaming. Hopefully it'll be normal for a couple of months, at least until June. Then I think it's gonna fall apart again. But that's beside the point. The last couple of weeks have been super interesting, super exhausting. 2 weeks ago was GDC. I was there working the Godot booth and talking with Godot people and living and breathing Godot for a whole week. And I got sick while I was there, which sucked. So like most of the time I was wearing a mask and just trying not to infect anyone. It wasn't COVID though. It was just like a head cold thing. I took a COVID test while I was there. Anyway, it was super fun. What are some highlights? There was a Godot party at GitHub again. That was cool. I got to chat with some people in person who it was just cool to meet them in person. Mrs. was showing a VR game at the booth because we had a bunch of stations at the Godot booth showing Godot games made by indie devs, and we had kind of like a rotations. Like in the morning, there was one slate of devs showing their games, and then in the afternoon, there was a different slate of them. And Mrs. had a VR game, which is really cool. It's great to see stuff made in Godot for VR as a member of the Godot XR team. And so I helped him a little bit. There were some issues getting his game running on the Quest 3. We got a couple of Quest 3s that Meta borrowed to us. Yeah, it was cool. Lots of cool games being shown. I checked out the alt control area again, like I did last year. It's I mean, I've only gone to GDC the 2 years, but my understanding is it has been going for a long time. Where people make games with like really weird control schemes. There was one where like people were sitting on toilets and had plungers, and they were steering their character on the screen by moving the plunger. There was one where you're in a wheelchair as like a racing game, and like doing the wheels would steer and accelerate your character, and it was a real wheelchair, and they had it set in like these ruts where I guess they were measuring the acceleration of the wheels on some like other littler wheels, which was really cool. Oh, there was one where you're like on a rocking chair, and you have like a hose spray thing, and you know, the rocking chair rocks your character, and then shooting the spray is spraying kids on your lawn to get them off your lawn. Hey, David, welcome to the stream. I do 2D games too. I've done a couple of like 2D multiplayer party games. I actually probably done mostly 2D games. I mean, well, maybe at this point it's like half and half. So VR is a passion of mine. I'm on the Godot XR team, so I'm one of the people helping to improve Godot's VR support. Recently announced, I don't know if we talked about this on stream, but I work for W4 Games, and we announced a couple of weeks ago, I think the week before GDC, that Meta hired W4 Games to work on improving Godot's support for MetaQuest headsets. And I am working on that project at W4, which is super cool. Before I was working on W4's online multiplayer services, which is also super cool. I love the work that we did on that, and the team is continuing to do amazing work on it. But it's so cool to work on VR every day as my job. So I'm excited about that, and it's really cool too, because I think for game studios like trying to consider what engine they should use to make their VR game, there's been a lot of reasons to not choose Godot up until now, because, well, MetaQuest is the most popular VR platform. That's where game studios make the most money, for sure. PC VR and maybe PSVR back in the day would have been like the next sort of step down. Anyway, there's just tons and tons and tons of special features on the MetaQuest headsets that Godot doesn't support. So we're doing this project to try and bring Godot's support for the MetaQuest up to the same level as Unity and Unreal. It'll take us a little while. We're starting behind. They've had a couple of years head start, but we're gonna get there. It's gonna be awesome. I mean, VR, like in Godot, I think is really easy. Like Godot, just in general. This is in response to David's comment, which is VR sounds difficult. The Godot, I think, is known for being able to make game development more approachable and easier to get started, and I think that's true also for Godot's VR support. I did a presentation at the beginning of last month at the Godot Wisconsin meetup. It's a virtual meetup, and the video's on YouTube. I could find it. I could find this video and put the link in here. But the presentation was like 15 minutes, and it was from absolute zero to creating a VR game in Godot. We even like launched the game on the headset and everything. Jeez. Where can I find this? I'm not organized with my links. But I I don't think making a VR game for Godot is, at least the Godot parts of it, like are any harder than doing any 3D game in Godot. VR, I think, in general is a little harder because like the interaction paradigms are just trickier. Like you can't put a menu and a button. I mean, you can, but it sucks. You have to like have, you know, things in the real world that you grab and move with your hands. So it's a little more challenging in that way, but there's XR Tools, which is an add-on for Godot that helps implement some of those interactions. And hang on, let me find this link so I can close the loop on this. Here we go.
All right, so we're going to be talking about getting started.
Let me drop
it
it
in Godot. I have a couple of slides
in
just to talk
the
in
chat.
general about VR and Godot, and then
hopefully that will appear in all the places. I know YouTube likes to filter out URLs randomly. Some will go through and some will not. But if you don't get it, come over to Discord. The link should be somewhere on the bottom of the screen, and you can get the link there. It'll be there for sure. Oh, and I guess it appeared on the screen, which is cool. So yeah, I mean, GDC was awesome. Did anyone else here go to GDC? If so, I probably saw you. Or not. I mean, you should have come say hi. Why didn't you come say hi? That's mean. But yeah, what else? The YouTuber DevDuck who does those devlogs about his 2D action RPG was there. I only chatted with him super briefly. There were a couple of Godot people who I hadn't met in person yet, and it's always great to meet people in person to attach like a face and a personality and all of that to a username. Yeah. Not sure what else to say, but if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, I've been recovering. Then, like, last week, my kids were off school for Easter break, and so I had to be off to have some adult supervision and whatnot. But I have been working a little bit on this game. You can already see in the Godot editor here, I have been adding some gauges to the cockpit. This one is like a false horizon, and this one is an altimeter. They both work. I'll show you in the game in a moment. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's kind of just like sugar. These don't really serve a very practical purpose. The game is very restricted. It's an arcade style game, so you actually can't like really control like full 3D motion. So you don't really need the false horizon. It's just cool, you know, to see a gauge moving. And the altimeter, your altitude is restricted within this box. I guess I should describe the game for anyone who has not seen a stream before. So the idea of the game is it's kind of a Galaga-inspired arcade game. Hopefully you are all familiar with Galaga. We can watch a YouTube video of some Galaga gameplay. But it's kind of like sort of like Space Invaders, but with a little more action. In Space Invaders, they just kind of back and forth across the screen. And in Galaga, they also... Here, we'll go to maybe the beginning. Yeah, so they also fly in these kind of formations. I think we're on, like, the presentation mode here. Yeah, so they fly in these kind of, like, patterns, and then go into sort of, like, Space Invaders mode. And then they fly at you and shoot a little bit. And the basic idea... I started this at a game jam. When was that game jam? In November, I think? The Godot XR jam. And it was basically, how could I reinterpret Galaga in VR? Except I put it in a biplane, not in space, because the theme of the jam was... What was it? It was something with water vapor, like steam or I don't know. But like clouds, you know, clouds were my connection to the theme, so that's why it's in a different setting. But I actually kind of like it. Like, my goal is to make, like, a sort of 1920s style biplane that's going to fight with these mechanical alien ships, which I just think is a cool vibe. I'll show you guys the game. Let's launch it. Oh, thanks for the subscription. Thanks, David. Yeah, let's get this going. I'll show you guys where the game is at. Let's quit Galaga so it doesn't eat up my bandwidth here. Oh, I have to take off this headset first. Give me a second. Oh, this feels weird. Was this always this far from my ears? Why is this so weird today? Well, it doesn't really matter. I don't need to hear anything. You guys just need to hear me. All right, let me get controllers. And I've got to get this casting the game. First, let's launch the game. I can just hit this magical little button and it will build and launch the game on the headset from the Godot editor. And then I gotta come here to try and make it so you guys can see what I am seeing. Come on. Oh, it's not doing hand tracking well enough. Is it working? Is it coming through? It is not. Let's give it a second. Oh, here we go. All right, so no hand animations. That's one of the things I want to get to eventually. I've got this flight stick here where I can steer my my plane. You can see the new gauges. Actually, I'm at both hands, so I can point and steer. The new gauges moving the horizon as I go kind of left and right, up and down. The altitude gauge, here, let's go way up, and here we'll come way down. You can see it moving. I tried to add like a little bit of jiggle to the altitude gauge, which I like. I like having the jiggle there. It kind of gives the impression that the plane is vibrating. But I'm not so sure about the implementation. Like, all I did was just add some randomness to its position. I think it would be better to maybe use some noise, so it could kind of like, you know, do a couple little hops, so it would vibrate, and then just every once in a while just kind of kick it up, and maybe also allow it to vibrate a little bit slower, because it's basically just applying a tiny little random offset every single frame. So something that I could maybe interpolate a little bit between frames, I think would look nicer. But overall, I like the idea. So here are my alien ships, which I do intend to redo at some point. I can shoot my machine gun at them. Ah, you're going down. Ooh, that guy got like stuck on the bottom of my plane. And if we wait for the next wave, they'll start doing a little bit more complex behavior. In some earlier streams, we were working on the AI for the enemies, which is not very, like, I haven't used it to do very much, but it's this system of steering behaviors and behavior trees that should allow us to make some really interesting AI. I just haven't gotten around to, like, the level building part, you know, the level design part of this project yet. So here we go. They shoot these orbs. Again, the orbs are kind of temporary art. If they hit me, the plane shakes, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, this is where they go into that kind of Space Invaders style grid. It's hard to aim. Well, that was good. The steering behavior worked really nicely there. He dodged above me. On a different stream too, people who've been here before, we were working on fixing those steering behaviors. There was a weird thing where they would like fly into the ship and kind of get like stuck on the windshield. No, that looks great. Looks great. Steering behaviors are still working. Anyway, that's where the game is at. So let me get out of here, and we'll talk about what we're going to work on today, or what I was thinking about working on. I'm always open to suggestions. If you guys want to dig into something different, I think I just got to turn this off so I can stop hearing the sound effects. But what I was thinking is continuing on this dashboard gauges situation. These two gauges, like I said, are mostly just for fun. The important like gameplay affecting gauge that we actually need is a health gauge. And what I was thinking was putting like 5 little lights, and they'll start out illuminated. Maybe we'll have like 2 green, 2 or how would that go? 2 green, 2 orange, 1 red. Or maybe 1 green, 2 orange, 2 red. I don't know, some kind of thing like that. And when you take a hit, the light turns off and ticks down until you die. And I haven't figured out the death yet because I do want the plane to crash. But that's tricky to do in VR because we don't want to make people sick. So maybe like your character will stay in the same place and like the plane will twirl and descend into the clouds and explode, which would be kind of cool. Actually, we could put like a parachute on you. So like the idea is, okay, you've ejected and you're coming down slowly in a parachute while you watch your plane explode. That's one option. Anyway, that's what I was thinking. There's a million other things we could work on though, like animating the hands or trying to figure out some better level design, or some of the VFX around the enemy. So if there's something in particular you guys want to see, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to work on that health gauge. I had saved some reference images for what I was thinking. Where did I put that? I guess it would be in my game dev to-do. Or no, it was in the to-do file in this project. Oh yeah, and a site to aim through. That's been like the most requested feature for the handful of people who've play tested the game, which is really funny. So there's another like local Wisconsin game developer, actually a professional game developer. I'm professionally, I guess, an engine developer, and I just make games as a hobby. But an actual game studio, Flipfly, that's making this Whisker Squadron game, which I play tested a couple of years ago. I haven't played the most recent version of the game, but it looks awesome. Like it looks like it's just evolving in a really great direction and just looks amazing. But I play tested it a couple of years ago, and I was like, man, I like really would like an aiming reticle. And the developer kind of pushed back and like, I don't know. I mean, you can just shoot and see where it goes. And eventually they did add an aiming reticle, but now I made this game and I didn't put in an aiming reticle. I didn't put in a sight, and people are complaining about it. I'm like, you could just shoot to see where the bullets go. Like, what's wrong with that? So I'm now on both sides of this this silly little argument. Hey, Crimson Guitarist, welcome to the stream. Okay, so the health indicator though, I saved some reference images. Yeah, this was one of them. There was a really sweet, this one is what I really like. So I think this is the panel on a elevator, like a 1920s style panel. And since I'm going for a kind of 1920s biplane, and I just love this like faceted kind of like jewel as the cover for the button. And we could have a green, yellow, red of these buttons, and have those be the health indicators. It feels sufficiently retro, easy to do, low poly. The one thing I'm a little worried about is this has this like nice like two surfaces thing where you can sort of transparently see into this other lower surface, and I don't want to do that. I mean, like, it would be awesome. It would look really great, but given that we're targeting the Meta Quest, which is essentially a smartphone strapped to your face, I want to avoid transparent materials as much as possible. And so I want to see if we can get away with just sort of painting, I don't know, some like ridges, because you can kind of see, let me zoom in here. You can kind of see that like it gets a little darker on like the corners and then sort of hazy in this kind of pattern down at the bottom. I'm kind of hoping if we can sort of paint that in there, that that will be enough to kind of sell the glass-like appearance without having to do anything with transparency. So yeah, you guys want to make that? Should we make that? I remember in a previous stream telling you I wasn't going to make you guys suffer through watching me use Blender, but we're going to do something very simple today. I'm not an artist. I don't know Blender and all of the various art tools very well, but like I think enough that we can do this on stream, that it won't kill us. All right. So to get started, I'm just going to hide everything. So I like to build my new gauges down at 0, 0. Ricardo says, let's do it. Let's do it. And there's the two kind of spheres. Let me get rid of this texture thing down there. There's the two kind of spheres, and I think it's an icosphere that has kind of the shape that we want, but let's take a look at them. Icosphere. Why am I not seeing you, icosphere? Are you too big or too small? Oh, did I add you in a weird place? Okay, I'm just gonna get rid of this icosphere. Let's start over here. Undo history. Yes, let's undo adding that icosphere. All right, we need to make sure we are in the right place in the sort of scene hierarchy here. We're gonna add a new collection. The collection's gonna be called Health Gauge, and we are going to try to add that icosphere again, this time with that selected, and hopefully it'll appear. Where the heck are you, icosphere? Oh, I'm in edit mode. Okay. What am I editing? Sorry, guys. This is why I didn't want to make you watch me do Blender. Okay, let's undo the icosphere. We're going to go into object mode. Take 5 of adding the icosphere. Mesh icosphere. Haha, there we go. Okay. So I think this has kind of the right pattern that is in the reference image, as opposed to the UV sphere, which comes across more round, if that makes any sense. So I think we will cut off half of it. I'm always confused as to, so this is above, this is the side. Go into edit mode. We will select all of these vertices, and we will delete them. Ooh, that didn't work. Let's put it in X-ray. Do the same thing again. Delete them. Vertices. All right. And we don't need a bottom face. No one will ever see it. But otherwise, I think this is basically what we need for that top part. We're going to need to have 5 iterations of this. We won't copy them yet. Do we need to put like a kind of plate around it to sell the idea here? Let's try it. Let's try putting like a little like lip that goes around the thing, just like the reference. So we're going to do that by, I guess, copying some of the vertices here. So let's, I want to duplicate. Is that Control D or Shift D? I always get confused on that. Nope, that didn't do anything. Oh, and again, we want to X-ray and Control D? Shift D? Shift D! Yay! Okay, and we want that to be at the same place that it was. Actually, hang on. We want this to be in a separate object, though. Here, can I X this? Oops. Is there a quick way to split something into a separate object? I'm sure there is. If someone is super fast with the Blender knowledge, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to Google it. Blender. Copy into, or you know what? There's another way to do this. Screw that. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to undo our duplicate. We are going to duplicate our icosphere, which we're going to call health light 1. And we're going to go to object mode, duplicate, which did not do anything. Come on, duplicate for me. Duplicate? Okay. And we're going to change this to health light bevel. And we are going to parent it. Is it Shift P? Control P? Blender hotkey to parent object. Control P. I tried that, didn't I? We're in object mode. Control P. Oh, okay. Worked this time. Object. There we go. So now, ooh, I did it backwards though. I want the health light to be the parent of the health light bevel. There we go. All right, so in our health light bevel, we're going to do the reverse of what we did before, and we're going to delete all the vertices except these bottom ones. And we have to hide our health light. All right, we're getting somewhere now. And to build our bevel, we're going to want to extrude. Oh, hang on, I gotta first select it. Oh, wrong selection. This selection. We're going to extrude scale, get a little bit bigger, and then come down here, and we're going to extrude on the Z-axis a little bit. This, why isn't it sticking to the Z-axis? There we go. A little bit this way, and then we can bevel this edge that we just created up here. We have to select that whole edge. Oops. Which I think is Control click. Nope. Alt click. There we go. Alt click. Selected the whole edge. I'm gonna go 3. Let's bevel it, which I think is B. Oops, it is not. What is bevel? Bevel. Control B. Control B. There we go. And I think we actually might want to lower this inner part a little bit. Maybe extruding it, and then we can bevel the inside of that as well. So let's try that. We decided it was Alt-click on the edge to get the whole ring. Beautiful. And we'll go above it. We will extrude, scale, bring it in just a tiny bit. And then we are going to lower it down just a tiny bit. And I can't see because this is not X-rayed. Ooh, and I did that way too far. All right, undo. Just going to bring it in a little bit. Okay. And we probably want to bevel one of those edges. Let's look at this hard. Or no, it kind of like is its own bevel. I don't know. That looks good. I like it. Let's add back the health light. And it sits in there pretty nice. I think we're hiding one of the edges though. We are. So I think we need to grow our bevel just our bevel object just a tiny bit so that we can see that inner edge a little bit. So we're going to do scale like that. Yeah, that's a thing. It looks reasonably close to kind of like this little bevel here that we had on the reference. I think we should smooth shade the bevel. I think we do that in object mode, shade smooth. Oh, and we have some faces we can trash here, actually. Let's get just this one. Edit mode. And we have this face in the middle. Why can't I select this face? There we go. And we want to delete the face. And then we have a face down here, I think. Seemed like we did. Yep, and we can delete that face. So we have just the bevelly part. Combine that with the light. Sweet. I think that's probably literally all the modeling we need to do, which is good because then you guys don't have to watch me try to do this. But now you get to watch me texturing it. So what I was thinking for the texture, I was thinking we would paint it grayscale. And I think this is actually fairly well suited to painting right in Blender. I did the other textures on the plane. I did the ones on this one actually in Pixelrama, which is like a 2D pixel art tool, which was probably not the right choice. But you know, it was what I tried first. And then the altimeter I did in Inkscape, which is an SVG drawing tool, so drawing shapes. This I think was definitely the right choice for that. And the one up here, I think probably I should have done it in Inkscape too, especially the image of the wings here. That 100% should be done differently. I think actually what I should do is not do that with a texture. I should just do that with a mesh. Because right now there's a transparent face here with this texture on it, which is so dumb. Having to add a transparent pass just to draw this stupid gauge is wasteful. So at some point, I think I'll replace it with like a little flat mesh that just kind of hovers there. Anyway, so let's do a little bit of materials. So the bevel, ooh, health light 1 bevel, or health light bevel 1. This one, the bevel, I think we want to give it, not a modifier, just like a gold metallic material. Let's go somewhere kind of goldish. That's maybe a little dark. So I guess what would make it lighter? I guess decreasing the value or increasing the value. Yeah. And then, what did I click? I clicked something. Let's crank up the metallic. I'm always like unsure what to do with roughness when I'm doing metals, like metal materials. What do you guys do if you have any thoughts? I think I'll just go for 0.5, but I don't have a like an internal personal theory for how to handle those. All right, so that material is super easy. Now we get to the trickier one. Let's go to maybe the UV editing one. No, I'll do it here. Let's make a new image. I'm not sure how big this needs to be for such a small object. Let's start with 64 by 64. Kind of better to undershoot it than overshoot it. We don't need any alpha. We will name it health. What do we call it? Health light. Health light. Health light. All right, and we are going to need to UV unwrap our icosphere, which should be super easy, given that it's not an enclosed object and it's a primitive, so there should be like some pre-existing UVs for it. To do that, we need to go to our health light, switch to edit mode, select all, UV unwrap. Oh, that's terrible. Why is it so small and so weird? I thought it was going to be easy. It's using so little of the image. Let's see what Smart UV Project does. That might be okay because we're going to paint it right on the model. I'm a little curious, like, which faces these actually represent. What face is that? Ah. It's like these. Oh, did we leave a face underneath it? We shouldn't have. Ah, that's what that is. All right, let's kill that face. We don't need it. And let's UV unwrap it again. Ha, that looks perfect. That looks brilliant. We're using a ton of the image. It's roughly like the way that, you know, a human being sees it. There's nothing to dislike about this, except I'm going to center it a little bit. Okay. So our image, let's save it. Did we already save it? Why is it save? Save as? I don't remember saving it. Let's just look in the assets here. Oh, actually, I can just do git status. Doesn't look like it saved anything. Oh, I bet what it is I'm in the wrong panel thing. What are these panel things called in Blender? Let's call them panel things. Okay, we go to image editor. Now, save as. Still not saving. Save? Oh, I know what's happening. It's opening the save dialog on the wrong screen. There we go. All right, health light. You always have to remember to save your images in Blender because it doesn't save them automatically or even like sufficiently warn you that when you close the program, you're going to lose all your changes if you don't save. So I'm paranoid about that. Now, let us paint. Vertex paint, sculpt, texture paint. And do we set the colors down here? All right, we're going to do grayscale, so I think we can just mess with the value here as a way to change what color we're doing. We want to never be completely black because that will always come across as black. So what we're going to do to explain this, we're gonna do the texture in grayscale, and then in the Godot side, we're going to make a shader that multiplies some color that we give it against the color from the texture, and that's going to produce the final color. And I'm thinking like the grayscale is what we'll show when the light is off, and then when the light is on, we're going to have, you know, red, orange, or red that will multiply against the texture to show it lit up. And hopefully we'll actually get to that on the stream. I know I'm insanely slow when it comes to using Blender. It's embarrassing, but once we get to the Godot side, I'm a little better over there. So yeah, we'd never want to be completely black. We want to be a little bit lighter. And let's just try painting that on and see how it comes across. Nothing is happening. Common Blender problem. So I know if I paint down here, it's probably going to paint, right? No, it's not. Tool mix. Oh, is our radius too small? Is that the problem? Okay, now our radius is too big. All right. Still not letting us paint, or at least it's not noticeable. What am I doing wrong? We are in the image editor. Paint is turned on. Let's just like crank this way up. Why is it not doing anything? Image, save, image, save. So it thinks it's drawing something. Image, view, tool. What the heck? Oh, okay, that drew something. I don't like it though. Why won't it undo? Undo history here is not treating me well. Oh, now I see some drawing. Why didn't we see that before? Huh. I have no idea why that wasn't working. Oh, I know why it's not working up here. We have to create the material first. Okay, so can I undo what I just drew? Yes. We'll save the image. We have to make the material, and then it will show up here. So we've got our object. Let's go to materials. We're going to use nodes. We're going to go to the shader editor. We're going to add a texture, image texture, connect the color to the color, select our health light. You can see the little bit of lines in there, or maybe you can't. I don't know how good that's coming through in the YouTube, and it's a really subtle difference, but we've got that. We should probably converter. How do we multiply a color? Mix color. Oh, that's mixing two colors. Okay, we don't want that. So I'm trying to come up with how we can test our color multiplication thing, which perhaps we just do math. Well, no, because we want to multiply a color. Separate color? Mix? No. Oh, color. Oh, but again, that's two colors together. What's the right node for this? Mix color? Oh, again, that's two things are mixed together. Or actually, no, maybe this would work. Maybe this would work. Because we could can we have a node that's a solid color? Color attributes. Again, like doing this in Godot, I would know exactly how to do it, but over here in Blender land. Color ramp, combine color, combine XYZ. Math. Math feels right, man. Want to multiply one color against another color, have it come out here. But attributes, color attributes, object info, RGB. Hey, still not doing what I want. It's doing a little bit of what I want. We're still coming out grayscale. Getting closer. Mix? I feel like that's not going to do the right thing either. Let's try it though. Oops. Oh, and here I can just put in a value? Okay. I don't need that other node. Huh. Maybe this will work. Let's try it. We'll need to paint a little bit more to get like a better idea of whether it's working or not. Texture paint. Image editor. All right, so now if I go, it's not doing what I want. I mean, this is looking how I want, but the multiplication isn't quite working. I would expect the more white it is to be the more like the color that we picked. So that's not doing it. Shader editor. All right, I'll try this a little bit more, and if I can't figure it out, we'll just paint it, and we'll have to actually test how it works in Godot. What nodes are under vector? Let me see. Vector curves, displacement, rotate, normal, mapping, displacement, bump. Shader? No, that's not what we want. Texture. Bump displacement. Google might be a good idea. Wait, combine color? What does that do? No. Okay. Google or ChatGPT. One or the other. Blender. How to make shader that multiplies two colors. Determines the dimensions of the output, the foreground image, properties, multiply, blending mode, mix node. We tried mix and it didn't do what we wanted. Let's try it again though. Maybe I missed something. Mix. It's not a float. It's a color. Where's the blend mode though? Oh, here, mix. Here we go. Multiply. I don't know what this factor does. What does this factor do? All three vectors, non-uniform. Okay, no. The opacity of the foreground image. Opacity of the foreground image. Hopefully this is it. Hopefully this is the one. Closer. It feels like it's not mixing it enough. Is that what this factor is? Should we set this to 1? Ooh, there we go. That's the ticket. That's what we want. Yeah, awesome. Woohoo! We worked it out. All right. So now back to texture painting. Let's get to the image editor. And I don't really want that junk we put on there. We want to start by setting the background to kind of like a uniform dark-ish, but not all the way dark. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then let's look at the reference again. We kind of have this thing where it gets kind of like darker at these points and lighter in the middle of the faces, and then down at the bottom, like around the edges, we have lots and lots of darkness. So I think we need to kind of lighten up the middle, and then maybe we'll apply a little more darkness. We probably want very close to full color, kind of in the top, I don't know, 60% of the mesh. So let's get that going. Need a smaller. Is there a way to shrink my radius, like with a key thing or something? Be nice. Maybe I'll ask Google. Blender texture paint. Change radius. Radius. Oh. Apply gradient for a brush. Change radius. Hotkey. Texture painting hotkeys. Okay, change brush size. F. And brush strength. Shift F. Let's try it. So when I'm here, I press F. Ooh, there we go. That's nice. That's nice. I like it. All right, we want to be a little bit bigger. Let's maybe view it from the top. What is our strength? Strength is 1. I kind of wish that that information was across the top up here. Like, that would be really nice to see the radius and the strength listed up here. Anyway. Kind of get this out there. Shrink it down. Or, oh, it's like separate. Okay, well, let's get this even smaller. This is really weird that like the image doesn't update right away. Like, what's going on here? Save, reload. Well, that's frustrating. And I guess we want to get a little further down here. We probably want to reduce the strength. So that was Shift F. Reduce the strength to get kind of a little bit more, a little lighter here. Yeah, this is going to need a lot of futzing with. Maybe more strength than that. Oops. I don't like that. So what I'm hoping to get is kind of like a little bit of a base, and then apply some darkness. I just don't want this to be too dramatic as it comes down to the edge here. We may, for the sake of this stream not being totally tedious, I may just kind of get this close-ish and then finish the tweaking in my own time, so you guys aren't stuck watching it. Yeah, I can see the potential of this technique. I just know that I'm gonna need to futz with this so much. All right, well now let's start on our darkening. Let's reduce the strength some more. Maybe 0.2 around there. And we want to darken more towards the edges than the middle. I need more strength in that. I'm already starting to think that maybe 64 by 64 was too small, but we'll see. So yeah, we're getting like these little tapered bits. I think this is a little too dark for where we're at. Do you guys have any texture painting advice? Like I said, I'm not an artist, and my knowledge of these tools and techniques is fairly limited. So I just kind of make it up as I go, and usually redo everything 5 times. That's too much. I'd be curious how other people would approach a similar task. All right, let's maybe reduce the strength a little bit as we go up to the top here. Maybe and reduce the size. Our brush. Real light lines. Yeah, we're gonna need some way to sort of like soften all of these edges. I think I'll try and get kind of the general idea in here and then come through with this like smear tool. That wasn't quite right. And here I went kind of too much, I think, on these points. Let's see what the smear does for us. Yeah, the way it went on these corners was just way too much, way too much. Let's yeah, I kind of like the way it's coming together on the texture map there. But yeah, these points I did here was just too much. I need to redo those. Let's where's my color at? Where's my color? Oh, 'cause I'm on Schmear. Let's increase this a little bit and paint these in. A little more intensity here. Hmm. You know what I might need is to, rather than mix, I want to add, and then I can get this way darker, and it will, yeah, apply color that way. We can reduce the strength a whole bunch. Yeah. Press F. Thanks, Patrick. Welcome to the stream. Patrick, do you have a lot of experience with Blender and the art side of game development? We've only talked about like more technical things in the past. Where is this? Where's this spot? Where that is, it's... Oh, no, I wanted to reduce the size. That press F. Well, that's over here. Okay. I am going to go back to smearing this a little bit. And then, like I said, I think we might want to move on to the integration part. And I can focus more on tweaking the crap out of this texture off stream. I can see like that the effect is possible with this technique. So that's the most important thing. Or at least it seems to be. Well, we'll have to see everything in context to really... Press F to pay respects. Carlos says he likes how it's coming along. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it's showing that my random thought about how maybe to do this is likely. Here, let's do we want to make this more metallic? No, that gives the wrong look. No. Well, maybe. Just kind of looking at how it hits the light. No, I think it looks better not metallic. Roughness, maybe we could crank down the roughness. Ooh, that's horrible. Maybe just reduce the roughness. Maybe this 0.25. All right, cool. Let's leave the texture there for now so we can get ourselves to Godot quicker. And let me go to the shader and just play a tiny bit with the color that we're multiplying against. So we'll have the green. The green light comes on for the high health of the orange, yellow, orange. It's hard to find a good orange. Something definitely closer to the yellow end of the spectrum. Maybe that kind of works. I feel like it's too dark. Let's lighten it up. This isn't quite the right hue. Something like that, maybe. The illuminated orange. I kind of don't like it still. The green looks good though, and the red looks good. Maybe we need just something way lighter for our orange. Maybe in context it'll look better. Yeah, it's getting reasonably close to our reference. All right. So we have our object. We need to have 5 of them. The question is how are we going to do that? Should we just straight up duplicate them? Should we try to do some Blender modifier thing? What modifier would that be? Generate array, I guess. We want to create 5 of them. Oh, but it has to do both these things together. Can I make a modifier work on multiple things? Blender use array modifier on multiple objects at once. Apply the modifier. Okay, edit mode and press separate but loose parts. Select all separate objects. Individual object origin located in the origin object. Array multiple objects with one modifier. I'm not gonna watch a video. Add same modifier to multiple objects at once. Okay, you cannot use the modifier panel to apply a modifier to multiple objects. It only applies to the active object. However, you can use Control L to copy the modifier in one mesh to the other selected one. Will then they change together? Will they be like linked? The menu will read link transfer copy modifiers. If you alt left click on a property, it'll work on all the selected objects at once, not just the active object. All right, this looks like the way. However, I need to take a short 1-minute break to run to the restroom. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. Okay, if you alt left click on a property and work on all selected properties at once. Transfer. All right, let's see if we can find this. What it's referring to here. Let's go here. Which direction is it going? I guess to the right. That's good. We want it to go to the right. So if I go to my modifiers here, duplicate. Sounded like there was a like a menu that said like copy modifier link something. Copy to selected. Copy to selected. Oh ho, it's different though. They don't line up. Probably because they're different sizes. It seems like they're going edge to edge. It's all right. Let's see. Fit type, fit length. Length, or no, we do want a fixed count. Constant offset. 1 meter. Oh, I didn't realize these are huge. These things are gigantic. We'll get the scale in a little bit. So I don't know if we put 0.1, 0.2, and then let's do the same on this one, which sucks. They're not linked. I would love for them to be like linked to each other. Let's go back to that Googling. It seems like can I use the modifier? Control L to copy the modifiers from one. I'll just like to select the objects and modifier. Can I like link them? Yeah, is there a way to make the link continually update? Blah 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 blah. It's something to do with object data. I'm not entirely sure it's possible. The copy attributes add-on is a nice tool. Okay, well, let's just tweak them separately for the moment. Constant offset. Oh, wait, it does seem like they modified themselves together. At least, like... No, that's just the first one. What? Why am I still seeing modifiers on the first one and not the second one? Health light, but I want to see health light bevel. Oh, it's because I'm in edit mode. Let's get to object mode. Okay. So now I can add a constant offset of 0.2, and it still doesn't make them the same. Relative offset? Okay, I think we want to use this constant offset and disable the relative offset. There we go. That'll work. But first, we need to fix our scale. Our scale is out of control. Let's turn on the biplane. These little dashboard buttons are huge. Okay, so I don't want to move away from the origin long term because we're still kind of making this, and I like being at the origin as far as like what's easy for me to do, just manipulating Blender's tools. Hey GS, welcome to the stream. Sorry that I missed that you came in. Of course it's okay to ask a question. Ask a million questions. Hey MaraGG, you also asking if it's okay to ask. It's always okay. Ask questions. Ask me questions. I love questions. Oh, you're the same person twice on both Twitch and YouTube. In any case, yeah, go ahead. I'm all for it. Ricardo says, or just assemble the copies in Godot. Yeah, my workflow, like the sort of asset import workflow that I've been using so far, has been mostly preparing everything in Blender and then just attaching scripts. I could assemble it in Godot. I kind of like this workflow that I've been doing so far, though. We'll stick with it for now. Oh, we need to get this way smaller. Let's turn on all of our gauges and everything. Ooh, what did I just turn on? Horizon gauge? Why is the horizon gauge gone bananas? Oh, did I accidentally create a bunch of icospheres under the horizon gauge? Where did I create this sphere? Under horizon pointer. Okay. Edit mode. I'm so confused still. Okay, so let's hide the biplane. Let's hide the altimeter. Let's hide the health gauge. All right, and then this. I'm still like not on the right thing. Horizon pointer, here we go. Okay. Let's deselect everything. It kind of looks like something selected over there, but I don't know why. Let's select none. All right. Oh, I'm such a Blender novice. Okay, well, clearly I've somehow added this icosphere, and I don't know how to delete it. I'm in edit mode. I'm pretty sure this is where the thing is. Edit mode. Okay. Okay, this is looking more promising. Oh, and because I'm not X-ray. Let's go to X-ray. Okay. Whew. I think we're good. Remove the stray icosphere. Let's bring everything back in. Oh, here we go. Here's Mara's question. So I am currently in pre-production for a competitive FPS game built in Godot. Since netcode is a large part of it, I came across your rollback add-on. Regarding player numbers, do you think it could handle 5v5 10 clients? Hey, Dun Club. Thanks for joining from Argentina. That's awesome. So anyway, back to Mara's question. So rollback netcode in the way that my add-on implements it, in the kind of traditional way of understanding rollback netcode, is not that well suited to a competitive FPS. What I would do personally for competitive FPS is do a server authoritative and then not do real rollback, but do something where when like input comes into the server, you attempt to guess where the player was located at the time they made that input. And you would make that guess entirely on the server. You wouldn't trust any data from the client to do it. Maybe you would watch like ping numbers, or if you were running like a counter to keep track of how far behind the individual clients are, you could take advantage of that to do your guess. But I wouldn't do real rollback. It would be more a matter of like the player was pointing their gun and fired, and then the server receives that message some amount of time later, let's say 100 milliseconds later, which is, you know, if you're running at 60 FPS, like 5 frames behind-ish, 6 frames. So then I would, you know, from the server, sort of say, okay, the player is here now. Where were they 6 frames ago? And then simulate their shot from that position. And if you're doing, most FPSs don't actually do like physical motion for the bullets. They do something simpler, you know, with raise and distance. Although like sometimes for like rocket launchers or whatever, you will actually simulate the projectile. But yeah, that's what I would do. True rollback is not suited very well for big client numbers. I would say 8-ish, 6-ish is kind of the limit. And honestly, like rollback netcode, I really dig it. It was a fun thing to work on and implement, and like all of the tools that I was able to create around it that you can use in the editor, super cool. Like being able to use that to debug problems. It's not actually that useful in that many games. Rollback netcode is a very niche thing. Like competitive fighting games for sure. I don't know that this applies very much anymore, but like RTS games in the past, it made sense to use rollback netcode because of just like the sheer amount of data that needed to be transferred. But that in the modern world, it's maybe less of a concern. But there really are just like a ton of challenges as it comes to rollback. And in an FPS, I don't know that you gain that much from doing true rollback. I would do something lighter, and I would use server authoritative, especially like you said, competitive FPS. So like rollback is robust to cheating in one kind of way because the game is being simulated on all clients at the same time. But it's if you're going to have leaderboards, if you're going to track rankings, you need to have one of those clients be trusted enough to like update those rankings, to update that data on the server. You can't trust any of the individual clients, which means you're probably going to need to run an authoritative server anyway to be like a client and participate in each match. And if you're going to do that, like one of the huge advantages of rollback is that you don't need a server. You can run your games peer-to-peer and achieve complete fairness and non-cheating within the match itself. But as soon as you need to update rankings or any of that kind of stuff. So anyway, you don't gain too much by doing true rollback, I guess is what I'm saying. And there would be a ton of challenges with implementing it. I would go with the server authoritative kind of thing. Yeah. So like true rollback, you can do it with server authoritative. There's nothing that stops you, but like one of the huge advantages of rollback is that you don't need an authoritative server, and so you can save just a shit ton of money. So doing server authoritative, like dedicated server stuff, is really, really expensive. So like unless so rollback is super useful for making like hobby games, indie games, because you can save a ton of money from not having to have that huge hosting cost. And it creates a certain kind of fairness, which is very highly valued in certain genres of games, such as like fighting games. But like, I don't know of any commercial FPS that does true rollback. They do authoritative servers and like a kind of lightweight fake rollback where they're just guessing where the player was when they made their inputs, because the total accuracy isn't as important as making it so that players with low bandwidth don't make players with high bandwidth suffer, and you know, being able to have all of those players. So another area where rollback is weak is that if you have a player with just like really crappy bandwidth, it's going to make the match suck for everybody. It won't make the match unfair, but it will make it really painful. Because you, for rollback to work, you can't let any player get too far behind, and you actually have to either stop the match or kick them out if they get too far behind. In my games, I took the approach of just like pausing for a moment, which is sort of acceptable. Like you have to say, okay, it's peer-to-peer, so you're going to have to make sure that you play with people who are near you. Anyway, I'm sure that CSGO and Valorant do not implement rollback. I mean, I can't say for sure because I haven't looked at their source code, but I am like 99% sure just based on how rollback works and the type of requirements and all of that stuff. So yeah. Anyway, I hopefully that was clear. Let me know if you have any other questions. So the question is about contract game development stuff. So I have done quite a bit of that in the past. I'm not really doing it so much anymore. I'm basically working full-time for W4 Games now. The past bunch of years, you know, I did contracting for a number of different clients, including like a little bit of part of my time for W4 Games, but then starting this year, I came on pretty much full-time with them. So sorry, unfortunately, I don't really have the time to do contracting. Anyway, let's get back to our gauges. Our gauges and lights and knobs and all of those things. We want our plane back. We want the actual health gauges back. No, it's not a good angle to look at them. We'll continue looking at it from this angle. I kind of want them to fit underneath here, so they are going to need to be a lot smaller. I hope I'm not non-uniformly scaling them. No, it looks like I'm uniformly scaling them, so that's great. Is this small enough? Let's find out. Still not small enough. I suppose I can move the altimeter over, and definitely I can make these closer. Let's rotate on the x-axis. About there. Up here. Ooh, 5 is nice too. I didn't even really think about that, but it's symmetrical. I guess 4 would be symmetrical too, but not with the center being down a particular one of the gauges. All right, we're going to go on the y-axis. No, not the y-axis. Or this is the local y-axis. We need the global y-axis. All right, so we're going to go on the y-axis. There we go. And I guess we have to rotate. We can look at the rotation of the altimeter. So it's negative 19.71. Let's do the same here, negative 19. Oh, I built them on different directions though. I built the altimeter facing up, and I built the altimeter facing sideways, and I built these ones facing this way. So let's try rotate on the x-axis negative 90 degrees. Oops, I guess positive 90. Oh, 2, 3, positive 90. Still coming around a long way. Why is it still saying negative? Say rotate x-axis 90. There we go. And we'll want to get them close. That still feels like the wrong angle. Rotate them a tiny bit. Come on. That looks pretty good. I've been putting the gauges in slightly tucked in at the bottom, like down here. I guess I could try to be a little bit more precise, but I kind of like those being sort of consistent. All right, and then here we can center it. This is the x-axis. Maybe go, now we need to switch back to local so we don't have to re-angle ourselves again, and we'll go on the local. Is that Z? I always get so confused in Blender. Nope. Y? Yep. It's confusing that Blender and Godot don't use the same coordinate system. All right. I feel like that's good. When I see it in VR, I may have different opinions about it. The buttons may be too far apart. I'm not sure. Let's apply the scale on both these objects. Is that Control A? It is. Let's apply the scale. Ooh. Why did that break our modifiers? I just want to apply the scale, dudes. It was way too big, and now I need it to be this size. Maybe if I do it one at a time. Apply scale. So what's actually happening here? Is my modifier breaking? All right, let's undo. Undo, edit, undo. Let's disable this modifier. Wait, I'm so confused as to how this is breaking when I set the scale. And then if I turn the modifier back on, does it work again? No, it doesn't. Let's kill this modifier, I guess. Generate array. No relative offset. Constant offset. Oh, you know what it probably was? We applied the scales, then it was pushing them way out to the 2.5 meters. Okay. Yeah. Let's undo back to we remove modifier. Let's re-enable displaying this in the wait. We'll go apply before the apply object transform. Why is it not going back before that? I've confused myself way too much. I just want to undo until everything goes back to the way it was. I mean, we're before applying the object transform. Why? Oh, okay, here we go. Display and viewport. All right, starting over. I want to apply scale, and then I'm going to go in here and adjust this so that they're close together. Yep. Too close. 0, 5. Not quite. 0, 4. Too close again. 4, 5. Good enough. All right, and we'll do the same change on the bevel here. We apply the scale, and then we change this to 0.045. And then we're going to need to recenter them, but that's fine. Go X. All right, okay. So now all that's applied here is the rotation and the location, which is beautiful. And we'll need to see what it looks like in VR, but I think the only things that I need to manipulate, that I'll need to do further work on, is this texture, which honestly, like, I'm feeling better about it than I did when I was tweaking it. This, I think, might be closer than I originally thought it was. It looks pretty nice in context. Hey, Adam, how's it going? Funny you mentioned W4 because I was looking at that as well. Yeah, so until recently, I was working on the online multiplayer product that W4 has, their cloud product, which includes hosting dedicated servers. So I would highly recommend checking out W4's cloud product. I don't work on it anymore. I'm now working on this VR project that W4 is doing for Meta, but there's an open source version of W4's cloud product that you can run locally to test it out. There's also a beta that you have to apply to get into. The thinking there is that what W4 really wants from the beta is feedback. They want people who are actually going to build with the cloud product right now. A challenge that we had earlier on, and still have to some degree, is that people would sign up for the beta, would be like, oh, this looks like a great thing. We would love to see this get tested on the cloud product. They'd get the login information and they'd never use it. They're just sort of like squirreling up access to the beta, but not actually using it and giving us feedback. And things are better now, but that's really the main criteria for the beta, is that you'll actually test it. All right. Let's get this into Godot, guys. We have been in Blender for too long. And we are going to need to apply this modifier so that we can give each of these names. I think it was even Adam that was telling me this, or someone who was telling me that you can do, oh, hang on, I have to go find the window here, that you can say to apply modifiers, and I have never had this work. Include visible. How do you apply modifiers? I swear that I saw it. But now I'm not. Mesh. Apply modifiers! Okay. So let's see what it does. I'm actually not sure that I'm showing everything I need to show. I need to show everything but the flight stick. All right, we'll export to GLTF. Then we can jump back to Godot, which is going to crash. Oh no, it just sent us over there. I am experiencing a problem. This can go to what you've been doing, Adam, about sort of like talking to people. Oh, thanks, Adam. You probably put it in the chat before I found it myself. Thanks for letting me know where the apply modifiers is. I've been having this bug in Godot 4.2.1 where sometimes after Godot re-imports an asset, it crashes. And then I restart Godot and then everything's fine. But it's quite annoying as far as workflow. I still haven't had a chance to go search for a bug report. Odds are someone else has already reported it, but I will at some point. The more that it annoys me, the closer I will get to reporting the bug. All right, so when I look over here, I do have all of them. The problem is they are all the same object. That's not going to work. We need to be able to adjust a property on the materials for each light. So I think we are going to have to apply the modifier. I will do what I usually do in this case, which is make a new collection. Duplicate collection. And we're going to say health gauge modifiers. And this one will be the health gauge without the modifiers. Oops. And maybe we'll call this health light or ridge, health light bevel or ridge. And then down here we'll have health light 1, health light bevel 1. And actually it's fine if the bevel has apply modifiers happen. But we can't do that right if we're going to duplicate this one. Well, let's see. If I apply this, where did those go? I applied it, but where are they? Are they all part of the same object? Oh, that's horrible. We need 5 separate objects. We don't want a mesh that is, this 5 times. All right. So how are we going to do that? Is there a way to make the modifier make more objects? Let's undo. I can't tell if I've. Let's go to undo history. Okay, I think. Oh, here we go. Apply modifier. We'll go before apply modifier. We'll hide these ones, and let's do some research. Blender, apply array modifier, make multiple objects. Array group of objects. None of those look promising. Let's look at the settings on the array modifier and see if we can find we might just have to duplicate it. I don't know how to make the modifier make multiple objects. I suppose you can split a mesh into separate islands. Oh, that sounds awesome. Okay. So let's apply the modifier, apply, and then we need to find wherever the function is to split these islands. So why am I not selecting this light? Oh, I am. I just can't see it. The outline is really difficult to see. Okay. And then how do I split these into islands? Blender, split mesh into island objects. Split islands into separate objects. In edit mode, select all verts and say separate by loose parts. All right, let's try that. So edit mode, select all. Did they give me the hotkey for separate? P key or mesh vertices? Mesh vertex? Separate by loose parts. Oh ho! We did it! All right. That is perfect. So we'll just rename these so we can know what the names are in Godot. I want them to very specifically be, so this one should be 1, this one should be 2, this one should be 3, this one should be 4, this one should be 5. All right. Thanks, Adam. That's a great suggestion. That's awesome. All right. We are doing this. So now if I export to GLTF and I come back over here, it has not re-imported it for some reason. What has gone wrong here? So file, export, GLTF. Oh, it's because the window is opening and I'm not seeing it. This problem plagues me on stream. Okay, to make sure that we still have apply modifiers because I still want to use that for the light bevel. Or include visible, export GLTF, jump back to Godot, and for some reason it jumped us over to VS Code. Actually, I think I know why it jumped us over to VS Code. There was a whole bunch of X11 focus bugs in Godot 4.2, which are thankfully now fixed in Godot 4.3, at least for me. And I think that's what's causing that. Anyway, so now we have the light 1, 2, 3, 4 here, which is perfect. And we're going to need to mess with the material on this object. I wonder if we can modify the material that was created automatically. I don't really care about modifying that material. Let's just make a new material, give us a little bit more control. Although actually, I mean, the material is probably nearly perfect. But I don't want to. I hate that the material is like connected there. Can I copy this material that I can't edit? Okay, let's recreate the material. So like the reason I don't want to do make unique here is because I don't want this mesh to become stored in Godot rather than imported from Blender. I want this to still be imported from Blender, but just to move the material into Godot where I can edit it. So we'll do it by doing a surface override material, which we'll see if we can do it with a standard material. Otherwise, we'll make a very, very simple shader that just multiplies a color by the value from the texture. So we'll go to albedo. We want health light as our texture. And we want our color to be whatever color is going to get used for this particular button. So red or whatever. I want to copy this material and put it on every instance of the health light, I think. So I made this material. I guess, yeah, we'll try to simulate the vision that I had for this originally, where the first one is green. Let's copy this material. Copy. Go here. Surface material override. Why can't I paste? Oh, here we go. Here's paste. Then paste. But we're going to change this one's color to HSV to, and I think we want like more of a yellow than an orange. Orange was just not doing it for me before. Doesn't come through real nice. Maybe what I need to do is change the dashboard to not orange. Like, what other color would be nice here? Blue would be wrong. I guess let's stick with orange for now. And we'll copy this one, place it on health light 4. And then on the last one, we're going to make it red. Since Godot 4, can you make one material and have an instance uniform? Well, that's an interesting question. So I was already assuming I'd have to make multiple materials and then modify it. Do instance uniforms work in the OpenGL renderer? I guess is the main question there. Because I am targeting the OpenGL renderer, given that this is for the Quest. Red, the danger light. Danger. Oh, and you know what? This is missing the tweaks I made to the metallic and roughness. Yeah, I think I moved the roughness down to 0.5 or something like that, or maybe it was 0.25. Yeah, okay, let's try and modify. Can I modify this roughness and everything? You know what would be better than doing it like this would be to save the material and then in code copy it. I mean, it is nice to get the little bit of a simulation here, but let's do it that way. Let's switch this up. So I am going to save this as, I'm going to call this health light material, and then in code we're gonna duplicate them and adjust the colors as needed. So I can get my 0.25 roughness. And we're just going to make them all be... Oop! Well, there, Godot crashed. Stack trace. Did it save my material, or do I have to make it again? I don't see my material. It did not save it. Oh, no, here it is, health light material. It's just in the wrong place. Okay, move health light material to assets biplane. And then we are going to move the health light material into here. There we go. And we'll just use this material on everything. And then in code, we'll add the code soon. How much time do we have? We only have 10 minutes. The danger of me doing Blender stuff on a stream. Oh yeah, I never used that. So per instance uniforms. Let's go look at per instance uniforms really quick, because this is a cool feature that I was really looking forward to in Godot before I started really using it. Sometimes you modify a parameter you should know using the material. An example of forceful trees on trees. Yep, okay. After saving the shader, you can change the per instance uniform value. Instance shader parameters. Set instance shader parameters. Yeah, so we could make our own shader. It'd be a very simple shader. It's, I guess, worth trying this. Should we make that the last thing we do? Oh yeah, convert my existing material to a shader material. That's a great point. This is the beautiful part of being on stream. I did not think of that. All right, so where's the button for that, for converting it to a shader material? Here we go. Convert to shader material. Woohoo! And then I click here to get it. Yeah. Wow, with all the hints, it's actually like much more stuff. Metallic texture channel? Texture roughness? Like, I'm not using any of that stuff as far as I know. Roughness texture. I guess I can remove some of this. So the roughness texture values from the texture roughness with the base UV, roughness texture channel. I think we can just have this be roughness. Roughness equals roughness. Metallic texture, we don't need that either. Metallic texture, texture metallic. Get rid of that. And then metallic equals metallic. The rest of this looks good though. We don't seem to be using these other uniforms. Or wait, no, they're being used in the vertex shader, but we're not setting anything on them. So we probably could just remove the vertex shader. Or why did that break everything? Or maybe it didn't break everything. Okay, shader type spatial. I'll make this kind of follow the way that I usually do the text in my shaders. And I think it looks good. I think, I mean, this has way more junk in it than I would have put in it. Wait, I can't write it like that? Oh, I screwed up a space. Okay, and let's save this. Save as. Assets, biplane. I'm going to call this health light shader. And then all we need to do is change this albedo uniform into an instance uniform. And I guess let's save this material. Save. This should overwrite this. Yes. All right, let's go back to those docs. Instance uniform. We just have to add the word instance. So instance uniform albedo. Save that. And so then, oh, didn't they say we have to set the material elsewhere? Yeah, we're setting the material in the wrong place now. Okay. Hold. We're going to clear this one. And then we are going to go to geometry, material override. We need to bring the. Why can I not grab this? Oh, it just wasn't changing the icon. Health light material. Okay. And then where is this supposed to appear? Oh, here we go. Uniform instances are not supported in GL compatibility shaders. I had a feeling. I had a feeling. All right. So I guess we answered the question. We answered the question of why we can't use that. So I guess I'd like to go back to my original strategy. Can I undo that far? Let's undo, 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 undo. Is there an undo history? I can no longer undo any further. All right. Well, let's get rid of this shader T-res. Let's get rid of our health light material. We'll recreate it. We'll start back at the beginning here. Standard material. A roughness of 0.25. Metallic specular, that's fine. Albedo, we want the health light texture. And we want, we're going to put, I guess, our green color. Kind of like looking at it with the, there we go. I think that's all the changes that I made. And this looks good enough. Let's close the shader editor here. And then we want to save this material as health light material. Did I type that right? I have this feeling I typed materia. Where is it? Save as. I did type materia. Material. How come I'm not seeing it in the list here, though? Am I just blind? There we go. Health light materia, health light material. And then we will drag it onto each of these. And again, from code, we'll loop through them, we'll duplicate them, and we'll set them to the correct color. Yeah, back to the plane. Hey, Cyber Habanero, welcome to the stream. Oh, next to the node tab on the right is undo history. Oh, beautiful. I use the undo history in Blender a lot. Like, I don't think I'd be able to use Blender if it weren't for the undo history, because I'll hit a key or a wrong key or think a hotkey is something else, and then something will happen, and I don't know. Or like I'll go down a path of I'm going to try this, and then that's not the right way. Like, I need that undo history. Okay. So we now need to update our plane script to work on these lights. So let's bring this back here so I can switch to Godot easily. And it's health light 1 through 4. Let's decide how we're going to include these. We could do it by looping and just adding a number, but I think I'm going to do it in a way that matches the rest of these. So we're going to say health lights array node 3D, and we're going to build a little array of them here. Biplane health light 1. What? That's an interesting copy paste O there. Let's maybe keep all these together, all the gauges together. And then in onReady, we need to loop through them. So for health light in health lights, we're going to have to duplicate this material. This is the surface override material. So var material, I guess standard material 3D equals health light get surface. It's not going to autocomplete for me because I can't put a type in on a 4 element, or can I? It'd be so cool if that was updated. Or I guess it would be mesh instance 3D. Or you know what? Yeah, I should annotate this as mesh instance 3D. Mesh instance 3D. Is that like actually valid code that I put down here with the colon? Or do I not need it now that I type hinted this correctly? Oh, okay. Get surface material override. I'll say if material equals material duplicate. I think we don't need to duplicate everything. We can just do a non-recursive duplicate, I think. And then material, what is the... I always get confused about what the properties are actually called on the standard material when you use them from code. It's very confusing. So standard material 3D. And it's actually its parent class that has all of these. Albedo color. All right. Oh, and the... Well, okay, yeah. I'm not doing C++ right now, so I don't need to know set albedo. I need to know albedo underscore color. So albedo color equals... we need an index, which we increment, and we're going to need to store some colors. Const health light colors. And let's just make simple colors. So red, orange, I guess, is red, and red and yellow. But how do I make yellow? Okay, let's look at an orange somewhere. I guess in our blender we have this one. We can look at its material. Oh my gosh, I've gone over my time. Let's finish this up so I have some time to go for a walk and eat some lunch before I have a meeting. Yeah, let's just get this as far as they have the right colors. We'll cut it off at that point. This is okay. 0.7, 0.2, and 0 essentially. 0.7, 0.2, 0, and then red. Okay, so if index is greater than or equal to 4, beta color equals health color lights, or no, we'll do less than, so we can do them in the order that they happen. So if it's less than or equal to 1, then albedo color equals plain, or health light colors, 0. If index is less than or equal to 3, then material albedo, oh my god, albedo color, I cannot type, 1 if, or this should be else if color equals 4, or this can just be else. And then we need to reset this material. So health, light, set, surface, override material, 0 material. All right. So let's just run it in the non-VR version and see if we can see that. We can, but it's wrong. What did I do wrong? Red, green. Wait, why did I do red, green, blue? Should be red, green. And then the orange does not look good. I'm still so skeptical of this orange. We do like a super bright yellow. Like, what's a super bright yellow? Okay, red and green. Red and green. We'll just go for super simple colors here. Okay. Good enough for now. I would kind of like to see it in VR. Let's see it in VR, and then we'll call it a... I was nearly to write yellow is 110. Yeah, sorry. I'm so dumb about some things, and like colors is definitely one of them. All right, let's run this once in VR, and then let's call it a stream. So let me just switch around my headsets. Let's get our casting so you guys can see. Go over to, where is our casting? Here it is. Reload the page. Hopefully that'll kick it into gear. Oh, is casting gonna forsake us? Well, let me launch the game, and then I'll take one more chance at casting, but at least, you know, I'll be able to kind of close the loop and say, this looks cool, or this looks terrible, and we can get that emotional release from completion. Come on. Okay. Ooh, the buttons, I mean, they look good. I mean, the material could use a little bit of work. You know, I was trying to make it more subtle in Blender. I think the changes in the material need to be more dramatic, actually. They're too subtle. It's saying casting live stream error. I don't know, guys. I wish you could see this. 'Cause this like totally is the vibe. This is the vibe. Man, I love it. It's not letting me cast, though. Let me try one more time. I'm going to try quitting this app, and then let's do casting from the home. Cast a computer, next. Come on. Come on. You are now casting to web, but I don't see it. Where is it? Hey, okay. Now, we just need to go back into the game. Not OpenXR demo. Ooh, what is happening? Oh, I'm here! Are you guys still seeing it? Okay, I don't know if this will come across, but like looking really, really close, the sort of like coloration differences that we're working on the texture, they are not nearly extreme enough. From back here, I think it does help a little bit to make those edges darker like it does, but like I need to spend some time like really pushing that. What's with that one face? There's like a face on the right side that's coming off real weird. Maybe that's from the lighting. Must be from the lighting. But I don't know, guys. That is the right vibe, and it fits in. I think maybe I could tweak a little bit with the roughness and whatnot. But yeah, this is heading in a good direction. Well, thanks everyone for coming to the stream. Thanks for bearing with me while I was doing Blender and some artsy stuff that is definitely not my strong suit. And thanks for all of the hints and ideas and stuff. Like always, you guys almost always know some secret or trick with the tool that I'm not aware of. Yeah, thanks, Ricardo. I think it's really coming together. Yeah, and maybe we'll continue working on this next week. I think I might be past all of this blendery stuff by then. I really just want to add like one more gauge over here and do the hands. I'm going to try to animate the hands and come up with something nice there. I'm never happy with anyone else's hands that I download, so I'm going to try to do my own thing. But maybe I'll be done with all that by next week. We'll see. After that, it's returning to, I guess there's some VFX things to do on the enemy and the gameplay, like working on level design. Anyway, thanks so much for coming to the stream. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you on Discord and elsewhere. Take care. Bye-bye.